What if I told you that your body listens to every thought you think? That your biology, your cells, your heartbeat, your immune system is in conversation with your beliefs every single day? At age 80 and beyond, the rules of life subtly shift. The world slows down, yes, but so does the unconscious momentum you've carried for decades. And that is both the danger and the opportunity. See, most people were never taught how to age consciously. They know how to survive, how to retire, how to rest, but they've never been taught how to evolve in their later years. And so many seniors drift, unaware that the most powerful years of transformation are not necessarily behind them. They're simply waiting to be activated. You are not your age. You are not your diagnosis. You are not a number on a chart or a label in a file. You are a living, breathing field of potential right now. But potential requires participation. Your 80s can be a time of deep peace or quiet desperation. The difference lies in what you choose to understand about the realities ahead. This message is not a soft pillow of comfort. It is a wake-up call for the wise. The years after 80 are sacred, but they are not easy. They come with truths we must face head-on, not to frighten you, but to free you. Because when you see clearly, you choose powerfully, and when you choose powerfully, your biology listens. So today we're going to explore 5 realities of life after 80 that every senior deserves to understand, not to surrender to them, but to rise through them. There's a common belief that the brain ages the same way the body does, that forgetfulness is inevitable, that sharpness is a fading gift, and that we must quietly accept the cognitive decline that seems to accompany the later years of life. But this idea is not only incomplete, it's dangerous. Because the mind, unlike the body, does not retire on its own. It retires when we stop giving it direction. You see, the brain is not a fixed structure. It is a dynamic living system, a field of electrical patterns, biochemical habits, and neural architecture that is shaped moment by moment by what we do, what we think, what we feel, and what we believe. And long after 80, this plasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself, does not stop. But it does require effort. Passive living no longer fuels the mind. Routine no longer excites the neurons. Repetition without conscious change becomes a silent poison, not a comfort. For decades, many of us have lived with deeply ingrained habits of thought, of movement, of reaction. We wake up and think the same thoughts. We speak the same words. We anticipate the same events. This predictability creates stability. Yes, but it also creates neurological atrophy. Imagine walking the same path in a forest every day for 60 years. That path is well worn. But everything in it, the trees, the rocks, the life goes unseen. The brain is the same. When we only walk the same mental paths, the rest of our mind, the creativity, the learning, the spontaneity starts to die off from disuse. After 80, this becomes a crisis point. The mind is still capable of change, but only if you engage it deliberately. And that means disrupting your autopilot. That means choosing even now to learn something new, to challenge yourself mentally, to think in ways that aren't just familiar, but stimulating. This is not about reading a book or doing a crossword puzzle. Though those are tools, this is about changing how you use your brain in daily life. Can you begin to observe your own thoughts? Can you notice your emotional patterns and choose new ones? Can you visualize a future that feels better than your past, even at this stage of life? Most people don't realize that the brain's decline is often not due to age, but to disuse. We stop learning, we stop imagining, we stop engaging in novelty. And when that happens, neural connections weaken. Mental speed slows, memory becomes foggy. But not because the mind is broken, because it's bored. Your brain is a tool, and after 80, that tool doesn't break down from time, it breaks down from neglect. Let me offer you a different image. Imagine your brain as a garden. In your youth, the soil was fertile, the seeds fresh, the growth automatic. But as time passed, maybe you stopped planting. Maybe you watered it less. Maybe you let weeds grow unchecked. old beliefs, unresolved grief, repetitive negative thoughts. By 80, the garden looks dry, but the soil is still alive. The question is, will you become the gardener again? Will you return to that space with curiosity, with love, with a willingness to pull weeds and plant new seeds? Science is now confirming what ancient traditions always taught. The way we think changes our body. Your thoughts trigger chemical messengers. They signal hormones. They affect immune function. When you begin to think differently, when you begin to create new neural patterns, you are not just shifting your mind, you are healing your biology. And that means that even now, even in your 80s, you are not a passive recipient of decline. You are still a creator, if you choose to be. But make no mistake, this isn't easy. The grooves of thought you've carried for decades are deep. The stories you tell yourself about your age, your health, your limitations, have been rehearsed so often that they feel like fact. And yet, what is a belief, if not a thought you've repeated enough times to mistake for the truth? What would happen if you questioned even one of those beliefs today? What if you told yourself, my mind is still active, my brain is still changing, my best inner world can still be created? That single shift in belief is enough to start rewiring your nervous system. What the world may not tell you is this: transformation doesn't end when you hit 8, it begins again, in a deeper, quieter, more spiritual way. The physical energy may not be the same, but the energy of intention, of imagination, of consciousness, it is still available to you. You can still learn to breathe deeper, to meditate, to visualize peace, to write new memories in your mind before you fall asleep. You can still choose thoughts that heal instead of thoughts that harm. That is not just hope, it is neuroscience. So no, the mind does not retire at 8, but if you're not careful, it begins to drift. It becomes a slave to old patterns. And that is the tragedy, not that age changes the brain, but that we let go of our power to shape it. The most profound change you can make in your 80s is not to your body, but to your consciousness. Because when you reclaim the inner world, the outer one begins to soften. And even now, there is more to create. There is more to become. Loneliness is often misunderstood, especially as we grow older. Society tends to see it as merely a temporary emotional state, a passing sadness when loved ones aren't around, or perhaps a result of external circumstances. But in reality, loneliness is not just an emotional experience. It is a profound biological and physiological condition that can reach deep into the core of your health. And as we age, the impact of loneliness grows exponentially. It's no longer a fleeting feeling, it becomes a silent threat to both your mind and your body, one that erodes the very foundations of well-being if left unaddressed. For years, we have been told that the natural course of aging involves fewer social engagements, less community, and often physical isolation. The children grow up, the grandchildren move away, and the social circles that once felt vibrant may begin to shrink. At first, this seems like a natural progression of life. But what most people don't realize is that the consequences of isolation extend far beyond the emotional. Loneliness impacts your nervous system, your immune system, and even the very way your cells function. It's not just about feeling left out, it's about your body's deep biological response to emotional and social disconnection. When we experience loneliness, our body releases stress hormones like cortisol, the same hormones that are released during a fight or flight response. The problem is, without the opportunity to release this tension through social connection or other healthy coping mechanisms, those stress hormones remain elevated in the bloodstream. Over time, this leads to chronic inflammation, which is linked to many of the major health issues that become more common in old age, such as heart disease, arthritis, and cognitive decline. The body, sensing that there is a threat, reacts by putting the immune system on high alert, leading to a state of constant fight or flight in a time when peace and calm should be prevailing. More than just stress, loneliness also disrupts the delicate balance of your brain's neurotransmitters. The brain relies on a variety of chemical signals to regulate mood, motivation, and energy. When those signals are not being replenished by meaningful social interactions, the balance of dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin, key chemicals that promote happiness, connection, and mental stability, can begin to falter. This imbalance contributes to feelings of sadness, anxiety, and in more extreme cases, depression. Over time, loneliness can lead to a brain that becomes less resilient, less adaptive, and less able to cope with the daily stresses of life. There's something profoundly human about the need for connection, something we cannot ignore no matter how old we are. Your mind, heart, and body have evolved to thrive in relationships. The presence of others isn't just a luxury, it's a necessity. The neural pathways that promote empathy, understanding, and compassion are activated through social interactions. These connections aren't simply nice, they are essential for cognitive function. Studies have shown that people who have strong social ties are less likely to experience cognitive decline or develop conditions like dementia or Alzheimer's. Loneliness, on the other hand, accelerates cognitive aging, making it harder to think clearly and process information. Perhaps one of the most profound ways loneliness affects the body is through its impact on the immune system. In a world where viruses, bacteria, and diseases are ever-present threats, your immune system needs to be strong, adaptable, and ready to respond. Loneliness, however, impairs immune function by increasing the production of inflammatory chemicals that compromise your body's ability to fight off infections. The chronic stress caused by isolation can suppress immune responses, leaving you vulnerable to illness. The very thing you need to stay healthy, social connection, is the thing that loneliness robs from you. But loneliness isn't just a threat to your physical health. It also impacts your sense of purpose and meaning in life. Purpose is a powerful force. It's not just something that keeps you busy, it is the driving force that propels you forward. It is what gives you the energy to get out of bed in the morning, to face each day with a sense of hope, and to find joy in the simple moments of life. Without a sense of connection, whether with others or with a larger sense of meaning, loneliness can slowly erode this sense of purpose. And when purpose is lost, it can lead to a downward spiral, where your mental and physical health deteriorate even faster. Yet there is hope. The good news is that while the effects of loneliness are deep and wide-reaching, they are not permanent. The brain is capable of incredible change at any age, and so is your body. It's never too late to create new social connections, or to strengthen the ones you already have. Even small changes can make a significant difference. Reaching out to family members, engaging in community activities, or even making new friends through hobbies or classes can reverse the damaging effects of isolation. The key is to recognize that you are not alone in your need for connection. We all need it. In fact, the very act of reaching out can begin to heal the brain and the body. Because every time you interact with another person in a positive, meaningful way, you're sending signals to your brain that you are safe, you are valued, and you are part of something larger than yourself. In today's world, technology can be a tool to combat loneliness, not a source of it. Video calls, social media, and virtual communities can provide opportunities for connection, even when physical presence is not possible. And while these digital forms of communication will never replace the richness of in-person interaction, they are a lifeline for many people, especially for those who are physically unable to leave their homes. The point is, there are ways to connect even when it feels like the world is closing in. You do not have to remain isolated. The choice to connect with others is one of the most powerful decisions you can make for your health and your happiness. So if you're experiencing loneliness in your later years, know that it's not a sign of failure, but rather a call to action. The reality of aging is that you may find yourself more isolated than you ever were before. But this doesn't have to be your new normal. It's never too late to reintegrate into the world and to create meaningful relationships that nourish your soul. The more you allow yourself to reconnect, the more you'll find that loneliness loses its grip. And in its place, you'll begin to experience the healing power of companionship, the vitality of purpose, and the joy of truly being seen and understood. As we age, the inevitability of physical decline becomes more evident. Muscles weaken, joints stiffen, and balance becomes less reliable. For many, this decline can feel like a slow erosion of independence. A reminder that we are no longer the youthful, energetic individuals we once were. And while this is an undeniable reality, What's often overlooked is that mobility is not something that simply slips away on its own. It's something we either take care of or lose through neglect. The more we ignore our bodies, the more difficult it becomes to maintain the basic movements that allow us to live freely, engage with the world, and take care of ourselves. The loss of mobility, however, isn't just about what we can no longer do physically. It's also about the deeper impact it has on our mental health, emotional well-being, and sense of purpose. In our younger years, movement feels natural. We wake up, stretch, walk, run, and go about our daily tasks without much thought. But as we age, our bodies begin to demand more conscious attention. The muscles that once performed effortlessly begin to require more time to warm up. The joints that once moved fluidly may begin to crack, creak, and ache. And balance, the ability to remain steady on our feet, becomes something we actively need to focus on. The truth is, as we age, we don't have the luxury of just letting things be. We must make a concerted effort to move, to exercise, to maintain our body's mobility. It's easy to fall into a passive mindset as we get older. We might tell ourselves, I'm too old for this, or I've earned a rest. And while rest is crucial to recovery, prolonged inactivity is a slippery slope. It leads to muscle atrophy, joint stiffness, and a gradual loss of strength and endurance. When mobility starts to fade, the body begins to compensate in ways that can lead to further complications. We start using other muscles incorrectly, which can cause imbalances and injuries. For instance, a lack of proper leg strength can put extra strain on the back and hips, resulting in chronic pain. Poor posture from weakened core muscles can lead to neck and shoulder problems. The body is interconnected, and when one area starts to decline, it impacts the entire system. But the effects of diminished mobility go beyond the physical body. It is a well-known fact that physical health and mental health are deeply interconnected. When we lose mobility, we also lose some of the most essential components of our mental and emotional well-being. Movement is life. It's not just about getting from one place to another. It's about the experience of being in the world, of engaging with others, of being able to participate in life. When we lose that ability, it can lead to feelings of helplessness, frustration, and even depression. The sense of independence that we've enjoyed throughout our lives begins to erode, and with it, our confidence and sense of purpose. We may feel as though we are being left behind, disconnected from the vibrant world that continues to move around us. The loss of mobility can also trap us in isolation, as it becomes harder to move. We begin to withdraw from activities that once brought joy, social outings, exercise, exploring new places. Our world becomes smaller, and with that shrinking world comes a sense of limitation, not only in the body but also in the mind. The longer we remain inactive, the more we disengage, both physically and mentally. And it's this disconnection that often becomes one of the most damaging aspects of losing mobility. But the good news is you can reverse it. No, you might not be able to go back to the energy and strength of your youth, but you can absolutely reclaim a level of mobility that allows you to live life fully. The secret lies in consistent, mindful action. The body is resilient, and the more we move it, the more it adapts. Exercise is not just for younger people. Its benefits are amplified as we age. Strength training, stretching, walking, and balance exercises can do wonders for maintaining mobility and independence. And the beauty of this is that these exercises don't have to be intense or lengthy. Simple stretches in the morning to loosen stiff muscles, a gentle walk around the neighborhood, or standing on one leg for balance can significantly improve your range of motion and stability. The benefits of maintaining mobility go far beyond the body. Studies show that regular physical activity stimulates the brain by increasing blood flow and oxygenation. It improves cognitive function, boosts memory, and helps prevent the onset of age-related cognitive decline. But even more importantly, exercise can have a profound impact on emotional well-being. It releases endorphins, the body's natural mood elevators, which can help combat feelings of sadness or depression. When you feel physically capable, you're more likely to engage in activities that make you feel alive, whether that's spending time with loved ones, pursuing hobbies, or simply going outside to enjoy the fresh air. It's essential to remember that mobility isn't just about the legs. It's also about the flexibility and strength of the spine, the shoulders, and the arms. It's about posture, about keeping the body aligned in a way that reduces strain on the joint. A body that is aligned and flexible moves with ease. A body that is stiff and rigid moves with pain. But by committing to regular movement through gentle stretching, strengthening exercises, and even mindful breathing techniques, you send a powerful message to your body. You matter. You are worth the effort. Now, some might argue that it's easier said than done. And yes, physical limitations can make even the simplest movements feel challenging. But the key is progress, not perfection. Start small and build from there. Remember that every small effort to move your body is an investment in your future. Even on days when it feels like too much, remind yourself that every step you take, every stretch you make, creates a ripple effect that will pay off in the long run. It doesn't matter if you're not able to walk for miles or lift heavy weight. What matters is that you're moving, you're engaging, and you're honoring your body in the process. In a world where we often focus on the rapid pace of change and the chase for more, it's easy to overlook the quiet power of maintaining our physical health. But as we age, this becomes one of the most profound investments we can make, because mobility is freedom, and when we move, we live. We engage. We participate in life in a way that keeps us connected to the world around us. And that is not only an incredible gift for ourselves, but a legacy we can leave for others, showing them that even in the later years of life, we still have the power to move, to grow, and to thrive. One of the most striking aspects of aging is the inevitable confrontation with change. Our bodies change, our environments change, and often our roles in life change as well. For many, this can be a deeply unsettling experience, as change brings with it a sense of loss. The loss of the past, the loss of old routines, and sometimes the loss of people we love. However, what's not often discussed is the fact that change is not the enemy. In fact, change is the very essence of life. It is the force that pushes us to grow, to evolve, and to discover new dimensions of who we are, even in our later years. The question is not whether change will come, but how we choose to respond to it. And the reality is this: you are not powerless in the face of change. You can embrace it, you can adapt. And through this adaptation, you can continue to create a life that feels purposeful, joyful, and meaningful. It's easy to look at aging as a process of loss. Loss of strength, loss of mobility, loss of loved ones, or even loss of purpose. But when we focus solely on loss, we ignore the vast potential for transformation that still exists. It's true that the physical changes that come with aging can be challenging, but these changes do not define us unless we allow them to. What defines us, particularly in our later years, is our ability to adapt to these changes. The mind and spirit are just as capable of growth and evolution as the body. One of the greatest misconceptions in our culture is that aging equals stagnation. That once we reach a certain age, our options narrow. Our choices shrink, and we are simply waiting for the end of the road. But nothing could be further from the truth. In reality, the later years of life can be some of the most transformative, as they offer us the chance to reflect on the past, redefine our present, and reimagine our future. It is during this time that we often have the opportunity to pursue dreams we may have postponed, to explore new hobbies or interests, and to forge new relationships that deepen our sense of belonging. The key to embracing change as we age lies in our mindset. Our thoughts shape our reality, and when we see aging as a time of opportunity rather than decline, we open ourselves up to an entirely new way of living. There is a profound power in mindset, the ability to choose how we perceive the world and how we respond to it. The belief that we are too old to learn something new, to take on a new challenge, or to meet new people can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. When we allow those limiting beliefs to govern our actions, we close off entire worlds of possibility. But when we challenge those beliefs, when we tell ourselves, I can adapt, I can continue to evolve, we activate a different kind of energy, one that is dynamic, open, and full of potential. One powerful way to embrace change is by shifting our perspective on the past. As we grow older, many of us look back with nostalgia, sometimes longing for the days when we were younger, stronger, and more capable. We may even feel sorrow for the things we can no longer do, the people we've lost, or the opportunities we've missed. But while it is important to honor our past and the experiences that shaped us, it's equally important to recognize that we are not bound by it. Our past is only one chapter of our story. The beauty of life is that we have the power to write new chapters, to redefine ourselves, and to reinvent the way we engage with the world. Take, for example, the story of people who later in life discover a passion for painting, writing, or learning a new language. These individuals didn't allow the passage of time to stifle their creativity or curiosity. Instead, they recognized that the opportunity for growth and discovery is never limited by age. In fact, some of the greatest works of art, literature, and innovation have been created by people in their later years. They understood something that is crucial to embracing change, that life is not just about what we have done, but about what we are still capable of doing. Embracing change also means accepting that not everything will go as planned. Aging often comes with unexpected challenges, health issues, family dynamics, financial shifts, or changes in living arrangements. These challenges can create feelings of frustration or anxiety. But rather than seeing these challenges as roadblocks, we can choose to view them as opportunities to grow in resilience. Every time we adapt to a new circumstance, we strengthen our capacity to handle life's uncertainty. And in doing so, we become more comfortable with change, more willing to take risks, and more confident in our ability to navigate the twists and turns that life inevitably throws our way. It's also important to remember that change doesn't have to be dramatic or life-altering to be valuable. Small changes like trying a new form of exercise, taking up a new hobby, or even adopting a new mindset can have a profound impact on how we experience life. These small shifts in our routines or perspectives help keep our minds agile and our spirits high. They challenge us to step out of our comfort zones, which is where true growth happens. Every small act of change is a declaration to yourself and the world that you are still alive, still evolving, and still willing to embrace the future, no matter what it holds. Another way to embrace change is by fostering a sense of gratitude. Aging is often associated with loss, but it's also a time to reflect on the immense value of everything we've gained. The relationships we've built, the wisdom we've accumulated, and the experiences we've lived through are priceless. By focusing on the abundance in our lives rather than the scarcity of what we've lost, we create a mindset that supports growth, joy, and fulfillment. Change, after all, is not just about what we lose, it's about what we gain and how we choose to see it. There is a quiet power in the acceptance of change. It allows us to flow with life rather than resist it. It grants us the freedom to grow, to learn, and to embrace new possibilities, even in our later year. And by recognizing that change is not something to fear, but something to embrace, we transform the aging process from something to dread into something to celebrate. It is in this acceptance, this willingness to adapt, that we find the true essence of life itself: constant evolution, constant growth, and the endless potential to create the life we want, no matter our age. In conclusion, the realities of aging are often painted in shades of loss and limitation. But the truth is, aging presents us with the opportunity to evolve in ways we never thought possible. It challenges us to embrace the changes in our bodies, our minds, and our lives. Not with resistance, but with acceptance and grace. As we face the harsh realities of life after 80, we must remember that there is always the potential to adapt, to grow, and to find new purpose. The key is not to focus on what's being taken away, but to recognize the wealth of wisdom, strength, and opportunity that remains. Through maintaining our physical health, staying connected with others, and embracing the changes that life presents, we can continue to live meaningful, fulfilling lives well into our later years. Aging is not a process of fading away, but one of transformation and redefinition. With the right mindset and a willingness to embrace what comes, we can continue to thrive physically, mentally, and emotionally. Thank you for taking the time to listen and reflect on these important realities of life after. Your willingness to engage with these topics and explore how to navigate the challenges of aging with strength and resilience is a powerful step toward ensuring that the years ahead are not just about surviving, but about living fully. May you continue to embrace the changes that come, find joy in the journey, and live each day with purpose. Thank you once again, and may your journey be one of health, connection, and ever-growing transformation.